Oh, I heard that. Now I gotta find out what that was. There we go. Hello, everyone. What is it on Twitter? Mechanical Frog 12? Is that what it is?
It is.
All right. So Mechanical Frog is joining us, and what are you on YouTube?
I'm just Mechanical Frog, I guess you could search.
All right, yeah. So he's joining me again today. I'm gonna work on some paintovers, and he showed me all his. That's why I couldn't do a resin printer, dude. Your whole box of like printed minis, and I would just have printed stuff everywhere. That's what it would turn into. Unless, is the cost of resin going up? It's got to be, right?
It hasn't really jumped up yet. I'm kind of
Really
expecting it to here any day, but
interesting.
yeah. Paying about
I'll have to.
$28 for a bottle, and I go through maybe one a month.
Oh, that's not bad then.
It's not too bad.
No, considering what you get out of it, what the minis. Where's your Is there a favorite place you have to go look at, like 3D models and stuff that you download or buy or
Um,
whatever?
there are a couple of Patreons for artists that I follow, like One Page Rules and
Okay, yeah, that one's always suggested.
what's the other one? Piper Makes.
Okay,
Otherwise, My Mini Factory has just tons of stuff. There's a guy on My Mini
yeah.
Factory who he digitizes all of the Mech Warrior Online files, so that's where I'm getting all these mechs.
Okay, okay, cool.
It's relatively painless.
Yeah, that
Oh,
stuff's it's come a long way.
absolutely.
Do you even play with these though?
Yes, we do. In
You
fact,
do get some using with them?
my
Yeah.
youngest son is kind of getting into BattleTech, so
Okay.
we've been playing games here and there.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah,
good.
I
At
is does it
least one child who's getting into BattleTech, which is good. The older one is kind of more into like first person shooters and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's got to be, it's hard to try to put myself in those shoes because, like, I liked both, but I mean, when I was a kid, it was like you were like just Commodores coming out and stuff, so you didn't have the huge selection. So it's like I
mhm.
wonder, as a kid these days, like would I pick up something like BattleTech these days, or would I just be like, oh yeah, forget it, I'll play a video game. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like I'm glad I had that stuff because you get that lifelong love of like books or whatever, especially like D&D and the little illustrations, and then later for me it was like Warhammer and everything.
Mhm.
And it was oh wait, I got Goathead. Thanks for joining us. I'm working. I had it's so funny. Just like I think it was I started working on some paintovers and whatever in my mind. It's like you always see like the the rays of light and like this whole like thing, and it's how it's glowing. And every time in my mind when I see some of these miniatures, I'm like, oh dude, do this, do that, and like have all this going on. And then I start working on it, and it's like, oh my god, how am I gonna like this? Like, and I'm like trying to get there, and it get like you get frustrated. And like yesterday I was just like, you just got like mentally bummed about it. I was like, man. And
Mhm.
I could tell I was like, you get that like distorted thinking or whatever. I'm not even thinking, I'm like, dude, no one's even said a bad word, and you got like super insecure over nothing. I'm like, go on stream and work on some paintovers and get over it, man. It was like mini artistic panic or something.
Yeah, that's something I've faced through most of my life. You kind of you get into that negative
Yeah,
spiral. And you're like,
yeah,
oh, what am I doing? Like,
that's
this
it.
wasting my time.
Yeah, and I
Oh,
laughed
geez, yeah.
because I'm like, everyone's been so cool to me. You know what I mean? Like, what? Like, there's no bigger example of it's all in your mind, buddy. It's completely all in your mind. And
I
you
was
would think
telling
what?
somebody the other day, just like the worst time for me is like the first couple of hours after I post a long form video that I put like tons of time into. And
Oh
I just,
yeah,
you get really negative, like, God, why aren't more people interested in this? Why? I am a miserable fail. Oh, yeah. So I have to like physically force myself to go do
Yeah,
something else, or else I will
yeah.
just slip into this horrible morass.
It's funny because part of it, I would think you would like outgrow it. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm old already, dude. Like, do I really? And it's like, nope.
It just really takes a concerted effort
Yeah.
sometimes.
That's why I catch myself. I'm like, dude, you just imagined a whole bunch of nothing. I'm like, go paint over some of these cool minis.
Holding up the mech of the day that I finished here. Oh, I should probably
Let's
hold
see
that up.
them. Yeah. Now, how did you say you were doing that metallics? Because I literally thought it was a metal mini at first when I was looking at it on my small screen.
Yeah, so I started with base coat of white and then did kind of a gray, the uh, Army Painter version of
Okay.
contrast paints, of speed paints. So I did a gray on over the top, and then I did a dry brush of gold, and so it looks like it was once painted gray, and then the kind of edges
Okay.
have worn away to gold. So it definitely has that kind of metallic edge
And what it
to it.
what is that's not an archer, is it, or is it?
No, this is why am I
That's
blanking
a
on it?
pretty old one, I
Uh,
think. I think I remember that one.
why am I blanking on this? Wow,
It's okay.
I know it's 80 tons.
God, that was. Can you still? You must be able to. Do you still like build your mech like you can back in the old days if you wanted to?
Yeah, yeah, good. Kind of depends on who you're playing with, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they want to go stock
Well,
mechs or
yeah, yeah.
edited, but yeah, you can kind of do what you want, build your own. I've always liked the idea that back, kind of depending on the time period you're playing in, those um, that the mechs kind of were armed with whatever the factory produced.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I
So
remember that from. Yeah.
you've got your mech that your great grandfather passed down to you, and then it's
Mm-hmm.
armed with the PPC that the local factory produces because that's all you have to put on your mech.
Yeah, it's not like you can get supplies from anywhere half the time.
Yeah, so you could have lots of kind of suboptimal builds, but kind of
Yeah,
it's fun to have that flavor.
absolutely. For me, that
Roll
yeah,
around.
can't have the best of everything all the time.
You know. Then again, it's also nice to play like Clan Invasion since I am kind of a primarily a clan player to roll in
Now,
with the best of the best stuff.
so wait, so I mean, I remember clans from, but what do you mean by when you say you're a clan player for that? I know it's separated into clans, but what does that define as far as game wise?
It doesn't really mean much because I still play like intersphere
Mm-hmm.
matches too with friends and my kids, but kind of like what faction you primarily identify with.
Okay.
And it
Yep.
was just something my friends and when we were starting to play BattleTech back in the early '90s, we just gravitated towards the clans and Clan
Yep.
Jade Falcon. So we got so when you look on my shelf of all my mechs, there's going to be quite a few Jade Falcon ones. I've got a whole
Okay.
kind of probably a trinary worth of maybe 50 or 60 Jade Falcon mechs.
Do any of your friends who you used to play with in college or wherever still play anytime?
No,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
I'm
that
kind
makes
of the holdout. I have a couple buddies who they still have their mechs and they still have all their books and stuff, but
okay, okay, good that they
finding
still
time to
got it.
play
Well,
is
yeah,
a
dude,
challenge.
yeah.
Plus, at this point, I live 250 miles away, so it's
Mm-hmm. Dude, that's what I was having. Like, I forget someone said it, and I was like, oh God. And I started thinking, you're hanging out with friends, and there was a couple friends I didn't hang out with in years. Like, I think there was like four, wait, one, two, three, four, five of us who, no, only four of us. Four of us who got together, but we haven't gotten together in like 10 years, right? And then you're like, wait a second. Like, if it's like 20 some years till I'm 70, how many more times are you going to get together with all those friends? friends. You know what I mean, dude? Like if you don't do it for like another 10 years, you'll get together once, maybe twice if you're lucky. You know what I mean, dude? And it was
Yeah.
like, wow. Really made me start thinking about what I'm doing with my time on that regard. Hey, Magos, thanks for joining us.
Thankfully, my two oldest friends are coming over, I think, in a couple of weeks
Oh,
for the
really?
weekend. We'll just play board games all weekend and have fun,
Will
and
you? All right,
really
good.
looking forward to that.
Yeah. I'm working on this one. What do I got in here? So I started four of them. I'm probably I'll do a couple more. This one, oh man, there's such some cool ones. And this one I want to do is because I've never seen anything like it. It was so funky with the walking. So I
Oh
was like,
yeah,
all
I
right,
saw
I
that too.
took
It
the
was amazing.
tendrils and I try to make it the background too. So I was like, all right, dude, I'll kind of use that to reinforce it. And then this is another one where it's all grandiose light in my mind, and then I start doing it, and
Mhm.
I'm like, oh God. So that's like and then that's where it was kind of like a little bit of Panicsville. I'm like, all right, I got it to where like it's serviceable, and I don't, hate it, but I want to get the cool light going on, and there's like something I think I'm missing with like how I use the layers to do the light. And I'm okay on a lot of it. And I think a lot of it is cool, but there's something in my mind that I'm going for that I haven't quite, I'm like, oh, I should be able to do it. And I don't know what it is yet. And so it's like just this, whatever that is just bothering me. I'm like,
Hmm.
figure it out. Oh man, this one's going to be fun. And I couldn't, this is another one you're playing because I want this to be light, right? They got the nice bright light, but then to get that light, do I darken the rest of it a little, or do you leave it kind of nice and bright so the whole thing kind of reads? And a lot of it, like this one reads almost like the old almost second edition, and a lot of the orcs were really colorful and everything.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so I'm like, I
Bright
like a
rose and
lot of,
super bright red.
yeah. So I kind of pick and choose where I think it fits. And I wanted to have gunfire, but I'm like, no, I can't really. Gunfire from the front wasn't cutting it, and then I put it on the gun barrel on the left, and then I was going to be like, oh, then I'm relighting the whole thing, and so yeah, it was just lighting quandary. But man, this was such a brilliant picture, and if anyone's
Oh, great one.
into yeah, anyone's into composition, the only thing I did on the photo is I'll put it up here. I tilted it ever so slightly. So it was straight
Hmm.
and the shoulders are kind of straight. And then I gave it just that little, I lifted the side that had the lifted foot. And I was like, all right, that gave it the good, just that ever so slight. When a model's shoulders are square, like in a straight horizontal kind of line, I don't
Yeah,
want to say it's boring, but you know what I mean? It's like it's very hard. Like that little bit of an angle, especially if you want to get motion, really
yeah.
works out.
Well, it seems more natural because you so
Yeah.
rarely see straight lines in nature.
Very true. They do. Yeah, if you see a straight line in nature, get freaked out. There's not many.
Yeah.
This one, I don't even know what this is, but it was so cool. Scientists, and see, that was the other thing. I was like, okay, on this one, I'm like lighting. I'm like, all right, if I darken it and go light on the globe and the glasses, but then push the face back, and then there's something too where I know I don't get caught up. I think, how do I look at it when I was having it's like an existential art crisis. I was like, when I look at these miniatures, I'm like, all right, that like to me, the miniature is what inspires me. So then sometimes I want to get caught up in my head. I'm like, oh, put this like in the background and do this. And it's like a lot of times in artwork, I would start to like overwork something. You know what I mean? You want to put too
Mhm.
much, and you're taking it too far. And this exercise for me in working on paintovers, it helps control that because I'm like, dude, you have a cool mini right here. Don't feel like you got to do all this like extras and so it's been just good. And that's why I try to I kind of do them fast because if I think too much, man, that's where you're like, well, maybe I should do this and maybe I should do that, and then you spin your wheels and you end up not liking any of it.
And not getting much done.
Yeah, and not much. It's like go, and it's so funny that I wish I would have done that. If you are a young artist, do not do what I did because that's what I used to go for like perfection and oh, I got to do that, and it was such a waste of time. It's
Mhm.
like knock that stuff out and move on to the next one and just No fear it, man.
Yeah, seeing that AdMech kit bash got me really excited for the Horus Heresy Mechanicum stuff that's supposed to be kind of on the horizon. So I've been so close to pulling the trigger and buying the starter box, but I keep putting it off and saying, you know what? Just save your money, hold off. Mechanicum is coming. You know you're gonna buy like $1,000 worth of Mechanicum stuff.
Yeah. Oh, because it goes so well with your other ones and
Oh, it's
everything.
gonna be amazing.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that. Have you scoped into that box set? Like, do you dig it? I know you don't own it, but I mean, from what you've seen of it, do you dig it?
I really like the Dreadnought. I like the tank. Being someone who didn't start playing Warhammer until Primaris was already out, I kind of prefer Primaris.
Yeah, makes sense.
I don't have like an animosity towards the old style.
Yeah.
It looks like a pretty solid box. It's definitely kind of it's tempted me. It's been in my my box on Amazon a couple of times.
Just let me just set it there for a little while. What is it, man? It's got like, was it like $200? I don't even know what it costs.
Oh, it was like 250 last time I checked.
Oh, damn, yeah. I mean, value-wise, I'm sure it's a decent deal, but it's like, it's still a bunch of money.
Yeah, just enough to be.
Yeah.
Hesitation.
Do I really? Yeah, good call, because you kind of knew you were gonna want mechanic and stuff, dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bloodbath when those are released. With poor credit card.
Hey, you're now a YouTube partner, dude. It's for content, dude.
Oh yeah, I'm really raking in the dough there.
It's not about you anymore, dude. It's a bigger goal now, man.
Yeah, I made a whole 50 cents yesterday. It was great.
For sure, dude. You gotta spend money to make money. I guess.
Yeah.
You gotta spend money to make it. You made 50 cents. It's not worth it to spend $250 to make 50 cents. Yeah, but then wait, dude. You keep doing this and like wait another 3 years. Yeah, like to me, it's just impressive to get to that point. Like that's the bit. It's like, okay, then it's like everything else. You just gotta grind away.
Well, yeah, it's like that old adage: the best time to start doing what you really want to do is 5 years ago.
Because
so totally. Here I am. I'm 1 year into this journey. So hopefully by next year, I'll be able to look back and that was worth the effort, even though at the time I felt
I think it already is, because I would assume over 90% of people never even get to partner. 99% of people probably never get to partner. You know what I mean? So it's like that's already like a big achievement for that.
Well, there's also I'll think about all the people who are like, well, I could do that. I could start a YouTube channel if I really wanted to.
I know. It's like, everyone has an opinion of, I would just go do that.
I could do that. Okay, then do it.
Yeah, talk is cheap.
I did see one new guy on Twitter who was following me. I don't remember him ever following me, or else I'd have followed him back. But he's like, I'm just working on my very first YouTube video. I'm like, oh, that's so awesome, dude. Get it done.
Yeah.
Get it up. Let's go.
Yeah, that's like for real.
You're where I was a year ago. Let's go.
Can't overthink it.
Do a little dry brushing here.
What paints do you generally use?
Kind of all over the map.
Wherever, whatever. Is it whatever's on sale? That's what I'd be going for.
God, I could let's do the desk cam.
Yeah. Oh, that is a wider range, dude.
Right. So lots of Citadel, lots of Pro Acroll. Got some scale 75 up here. Some X from Scale 75. Yeah, Army War Painter. Yeah, it's
Is there any of them that is there like one that was like, oh, I really like this metallic, or oh, I really like the yellows in this one? Is there something like that pops out of your mind when you think of a paint? You're like, oh, this is
for greens, since I do a lot of like salamanders and
yeah.
big falcon stuff. The greens from Scale 75 are pretty hard to beat.
Okay.
Um, it's like ultra matte, kind of like artist quality. It's probably better
Yeah.
quality than my painting skill deserves, but it's
Yeah.
still pretty cool.
No,
Um,
good. That's what a little tidbit.
the let's see here. These for doing chrome and doing kind of dark aluminum stuff, the metal
Mm-hmm.
color from Vallejo is amazing.
Oh, the metal colors from Vallejo. Okay.
It's formulated for the airbrush, so you don't have to do any thinning. You just put it in
Oh,
there, and
see,
it's like
who else?
single coat, super good coverage.
Okay, so someone else did bring that same one up from Vallejo because it was the airbrush. I forget who. Maybe it was Bad Posture Paint, but we'll see. Huh.
Yeah. Then I've been talking with someone from Turbo Dork about getting some more paints to play with on streams and videos.
Oh, right on.
I just have a few that I've played with and enjoyed. They do lots of colored metallics, which are awesome.
Okay. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Hopefully they'll
someone's
send me to play with.
I've seen a couple really good metallic Space Marines on. There's been some ones I gotta get. I'm like, huh. I think I only painted over like one that went the like metallic where it's not non-metallic metal, it's metallic metal. But I seen a couple recently that I don't know what they were doing that, but obviously just the technique that they carried it through with was really cool. It's just because of the way
Mhm.
they did the metallic and the dark shading, it really added a lot of depth to like a small, object. I thought it was sweet. I need my tap proof. What is it? Is this a? Do you think is this a G? This can't. Is this a GW model? No.
It doesn't look like one I've ever seen
No, I
before.
think this is Jewel Knight Jess's. I think this was hers. I like the mad scientist vibe. What have you? I've seen you. What you streamed BattleTech a few more times. Is that? Do you have real? Do you do any other game really?
There have been a couple of indie games here and there. There's a couple of action RPGs, but mostly BattleTech, and then
Mm-hmm.
kind of taking a break from that and kind of focusing back on painting again. My
Yeah.
brain is kind of like a bag full. I focus really intensely on something for a short amount of
Mm-hmm.
time, and then need to do something else.
Mm-hmm.
So I've gotten that feedback on my channel, like you should really focus on just one thing. Like my brain just cannot do that. I will burn out, and
Like
then
I'll
I
hear
can't.
it and I'll say it to someone, but to me it always overrides like you do you first. You know what I mean? Because like, hey, it's like sometimes it fits, but it's like, hey, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? It's like if it doesn't fit your personality to do one thing, then mix it up.
Yeah, I've been having a lot of fun just kind of doing one like solo mech each day and
Mm-hmm.
just posting goals. Those have been fun, and I've gotten really good feedback from the different
Okay,
places
good.
where I posted. Um, and then occasionally, if I find something that a design that I really like, then I'll finish the lance, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's it works for me, at least the system that I have. It's probably not ideal. Like I'm not a min max.
Whatever, man. It got you to partner. You know what I mean? So it's like it's solid enough. It's like I'm sure you'll learn like anything else, but and it gives you. It's to me, it's valuable because you get feedback on very different content. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, hey, maybe this does work, or maybe that doesn't work, or maybe this can carry over there. So it's nice to get that.
And looking at the statistics of what is actually being seen over time. Some of
Mm-hmm.
my history videos that I've done, I haven't done one in a while. I need to do another one here in the next few
Yeah.
weeks. But some of those have been really solid, consistent performers. Because I
Yeah.
know, having been a teacher, you're every year it gets to be that time. You've got 5 minutes here. You've got 10 minutes to burn at the end of the period.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta go and find a video on Pacific Northwest history or Idaho State history,
That's
and
very cool. That's a
they
great
put
way
it
to
on.
figure out a niche.
So it's been kind of a consistent viewership. The videos don't just drop off like a lot. If I've
Mm-hmm.
seen videos that do people who focus on like news about like Games Workshop
Because
stuff,
no one cares in a week. They're never going to click on
right?
it. Yeah.
Yeah, no one's going to click on it, and again, that shows the few times that I've done that, you get the views and then you're done, and so
Yeah.
you're constantly chasing that. So
Mm-hmm.
I would much rather build a library of things
Yeah.
that
It's
people go back to.
evergreen content. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, like there was one video that I just did a replacement FEP on my 3D printer, and it's
Mm-hmm.
gotten something like 3,000 views.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's actually been like helpful to people, so I'm like, oh, that's
Yeah.
great.
Well,
That's
to
why.
me, that really does sort of fit your you know what I mean? It's like you got a 3D printer, you print enough stuff, it's like that to me is perfect content. And for the type of people I follow, I more follow like people that I'm like interested in. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, what are
Mhm.
you doing? It's like if you're doing 3D, oh, okay, I'll like pay attention to what, you're replacing and stuff like that. So I could see it being relevant. What is
I'm
your
hoping
is are
over the
you
long run that as the channel grows, people, the viewers, subscribers are going to get to know me and kind of understand, hey, this is someone who's kind of a well-rounded person who doesn't just
yeah, yeah.
do BattleTech figures. He doesn't just do Warhammer. It's someone who's much more real than kind of the
Yeah,
persona
yeah.
that you get sometimes from viewers.
Hmm. Well, and then yeah, when people do that, they kind of get involved in just the creator's journey. You know what I mean? Like somebody like they've seen me get better at paintovers. You know what I mean? It's like people follow along, like, oh yeah, like a lot better now and that kind of thing. So I'm doing more. Um, just I'm gonna have random guests on again. My schedule has been so messed, and I just real life is so tedious. And then with things coming up, I like adjusted it, and it's just unfortunate right now. Like I'm a creature of like habit, and I'm such a minimalist. Like I knew me for like I don't even like most things. Like you start being a minimalist, and then I realize how much I enjoyed it, and then I'm like I don't even like require anything. But then the one thing I do like is like my time. You know what I mean? It's like okay, dude,
Mhm.
I don't like I got rid of all that stuff so I can do what I want when I want. But then life happens and then you got other responsibilities and all that stuff, and I'm like I've been balancing it. And the thing I have a hard time is where and I'll work say like just 3 hours, usually like in the morning I'll do like a good 3 hours, but you're doing it on tablet and phone and it's all work, and then you're kind of your eyes are a little fried, you know what I mean? And you're like, okay, it's like, dude,
Mhm.
that's enough screen time. I'm like, now you got to go, whatever. And sometimes I go, mini workouts or do whatever just to get up and like do something and then try to do like, if you got life chores or whatever, and then kind of get back to working. But it it bums me out because I like to just be working and then keep going on it, and I almost can't anymore. So it's like I got to take that break, like refresh my eyes, go do something, and then try to get back to it. And so I've just been it's been a pain, but I'm getting things adjusted because I'm like I want to get the streams going, but like a free paint over day, like I'm usually starting the day before and then working on it. You know what I mean? So it's like it's almost like a day
Mhm.
and a half venture just to do a little like live stream, but I enjoy them.
Yeah, it's more prep work than people think than just like, oh, I'm just going to
Yeah.
jump on stream.
And that's it. And I don't even have like a high production one or anything. You know what I mean? It's still like, a good amount of effort to get all that going. But I get juiced up from anyone's like everyone working on hobby. I'm surprised I get it does like amp me up. Like I see everyone's work. I'm like, that
Mhm.
is so cool. I'm like, I need to go do something. you see them all like putting out that content, and like you putting out videos and painting stuff and all that, and it is a great motivator. That was one thing I kind of wasn't expecting about the hobby side of it. I didn't know I was
Mhm.
like gonna get attached to people's work and then be like, and I start working on it, and then it starts going good, and you like feel good, and I think too, when I do this, as opposed to me just drawing, it's like you're taking someone else's energy because they put this effort into it, and they put like their lighting and their spin on it. And so it's like instead of starting from nothing, you're already coasting. You know what I mean? So it's like you can use
Mhm.
that energy, be like, oh, dude, it's this, they have this awesome lighting on this vial. So I'm going to put it all around. And that's been a really good energy for me to like tap into, and it
Mhm.
gets me artistically, it gets me out of my like your typical comfort zone where you might be like doing something always the same, and then but with someone else's prompt, it like pushes you a different direction.
Really, it really can be inspiring to see kind of how people are growing over time.
Yeah, yeah, and they're everything from the skill of their and like Garfy blew my mind. I didn't like check his Instagram in a month. Like I always like the stuff, and I went back. I'm like, oh my god, dude! It's always like the presentation is impeccable and all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, dude, I'm like, man, I gotta up my game here. I'm like, I gotta like clean things up. And I was like, the same thing with like videos. I'm like, all right, I've I've tried enough little things in the videos. I know some stuff of what works, and then I have to put together like some 4 minute good solid content that is like kind of half helpful, half entertaining to people. And I got some ideas, but you know how it is. It takes all that time. You know what I mean? To do
Mhm.
that nice
Mhm.
content. I'm like, okay, if you start putting in the text, and then if you want to actually like read the thing and all that, that adds up fast. So
Mhm.
that's just been my whole thing, is like getting my times down, and it's just amazing that it like takes so much. And like even the last couple, man, I've been working like busting my butt, and it's like, oh, you don't feel
Mhm.
like you're getting anywhere. Such is life.
Yeah, Garfy stuff's so awesome. Like it makes me want to be like much
For
better
real.
photographer of what I
For
have.
real,
Like so
dude.
much of that is presentation. Like he does amazing work, and it's presented in such a
That's it. He does both. And what what his work to me is, when I was a kid, and they used to be, I don't know what, like used to get like the Sears catalog, and they would have the kids toy sets in back, and they would be like photographed all set up. And
Mhm.
his work is like that, like times 100 to me. You know what I mean? I look at it like, I'll see his photo with all like, I'm like, I want to buy all that stuff. It's like it
Mhm.
never like grew out of it. And then he's presenting it, and I'm sure he probably had like the same kind of influence. You see those things, and then he had the nice, when he does his model photos, he'll have the full model, and then it'll be kind of like on a card, and then he'll have like a zoomed in section of a different angle of the same model presented on it. And I was like,
Mhm.
yeah, that's a
Mhm.
brilliant way to really present some stuff. So that's what
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, if keeping at this stuff, I'm like, I need to like take the content to the next level. It's like I've done it enough to like figure out, hey, what's this and that, and now clean it up and like get even more focused on it.
Mhm.
Do
Yeah,
you
I'm gonna need a
schedule
better
yours?
better camera.
Do you
Sorry.
schedule your posts? Do you time them like every other
Um,
day at this time, or do you kind of?
I've been playing around. There have been some sweet spot times on the weekends
Mm-hmm.
where I think a lot of the bigger producers don't put stuff out on weekends. Where I've had some
Gotcha.
luck with things that just pop. Um,
Yeah,
but typically, kind of early in the morning, I set things
that's
up
what
the
I
night
try.
before.
Okay. Yeah. I'm in debate. Are you? How are you? How you do on Instagram? Do you like Instagram? Do you
Uh,
not? Do
I,
you?
I post single photos there, but I don't put a whole lot of effort into it just because
Okay.
there's not much discussion,
Yeah.
and
There's.
I
That's
can't
a yeah.
I can't really get people from there to YouTube very
Yeah.
easily without like buying stuff, without like
Mm-hmm.
purchasing in a more like a business account or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so it doesn't seem
Mm-hmm.
like a good use of my time.
Yeah. Yeah. No. So I was like, my Insta keeps growing. You. That's the thing. So like, people have asked like free paint over day on Instagram, and maybe I'm too daft because I still don't fully get Insta, but um, the you can't like I can't get them like easily to YouTube, or you can't really get them to Twitter. And like for free paint over day on Twitter, it's like, okay, reply and retweet. So like it gets more eyeballs on it, and it's in one place where I
Yeah.
can see all the replies. Like on Insta, I can't really do that. You know what I mean? I'm like, how would I
Right.
like what would they put to a hashtag or something? I don't even know how it would work, you know? So maybe one
Yeah.
day.
Twitter's bad enough with hiding YouTube links. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, dude, I that drives me crazy too, and I've tried all kinds of different things. I think what was I doing? If you post the YouTube video in like a Patreon and then paste the Patreon link into your Twitter, then it basically links to the video directly that way because it's hosted through your website and you can, bypass their whatever weird thing they do.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember
Yeah,
trying all
basically
kinds of
I've gotten
different
to the point
stuff.
where I'm posting the picture of whatever the video is, and then
Yeah,
posting the
yeah,
link underneath the picture, because then it'll actually show up in feeds instead of being buried by their shadow banning
yeah.
system. It's
Hey,
really frustrating.
Natman and Eutychus, thanks for making it. Natman, is this one yours? Am I doing Natman's? I think I am. I don't know. I'm so bad. Oh, I can't cut this picture. I was like, I can't check my phone. I have my phone acts as like the control device. And so literally if I just hit, I have like a little button on mine. So if like I hit it, it would shut down everything. And one time, I only did it one time midstream. It was just like it was going really good and I just clicked the button and turned it all off. I was like, oh God, I almost hit it
Oops.
now. I'm like, don't do it. You're out of practice. Oh, this thing is so cool. Do they put out so bad? I gotta get my old the BattleTech, I don't know what it was. Way back in the day, there was kind of like a magazine, right? And it used to be, I know you must have seen them. And I was wondering if they still do a version of that, like nowadays.
Well, they have Shrapnel, which is kind of their monthly magazine.
Okay, so they do. Okay. I know Shrapnel wasn't the one I'm thinking about, but I know of Shrapnel, and it was the one kind of previous, but I was wondering if they still did that. So that's cool to know.
Yeah, usually full of kind of short stories, and occasionally like a record sheet and some
Hmm.
cool art. It's kind of neat.
When did they fire BattleTech back up?
Definitely had a resurgence. Probably, oh, gosh,
Like it had to be
when did Catalyst buy them? I'm not sure. When
like
whatever
five
Catalyst
to
took,
eight years or
right,
something ago, probably.
something like that. But with the
Wow.
Mech Warrior Online kind of helped a little bit bring things back, and
Oh, you're
then
right.
when they did that first Kickstarter for um, the revamped game, that really brought the community itself never really went away.
No, it
Just from
seems
all
like
the various
that.
games.
Yeah. The whole cliche about community or whatever, but it really does seem like BattleTech has that solid core, you know? Natman, Eutychus, are you guys working on anything? Or anybody else who's watching? Are you hobbying or are you not doing any of the above? Do you ever watch any, like, I don't know, movies or TV shows or any of that stuff?
Sure.
What's the last decent thing you think you liked?
Oh gosh. Um,
Can be any genre or anything like that.
well, my older son, and I have been kind of watching all the 1980s movies.
Oh, have you?
So kind of getting him bulked up on all the cultural references that constantly flow out of my mouth. Um, he and I both have a very dry sense of humor,
All right.
and
Yeah, yeah.
so it's good that he he can kind of figure out what the heck I'm talking about.
Well, yeah,
Um,
that's good. That's right. Because you grow up and you hang out with your friends and you have all those references, and then you have like a son who like didn't miss those whatever 20 years of it.
we watched the first Top Gun the other night, and that was pretty hilarious. Just because it had been so long since I had seen it,
Yeah.
holds up pretty well.
I heard really good things about the newest Top Gun.
Yeah, we haven't gone yet. It's on our list of things to do here, probably this next week.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go check it out myself.
And the other, it's kind of like a guilty pleasure, but I liked Yellowstone. I don't know if you've seen that
Oh
show.
yeah, I did. I think I watched the first season of that. Yeah.
It's like a train wreck.
Yeah,
But
it's
I
one of
love
those
it.
shows. Yeah. I haven't most stuff, man. It's so weird how short my attention span gets. And now, like, the only game I can really play right now is I'll still play once in a while. I'll play some Rocket League, right? Because I can hop in and what are they, like 5 minute games or something, and then
Mm-hmm.
I can play. I have one friend who will play who plays video games, and the only game we'll play is like Rocket League from back in the day, and so me and him will hop on and like play that sometimes, and yeah, maybe I play for like 20 minutes, maybe up to like 30, 40 tops. I don't know. Yeah, that's probably over exaggerating, but man, and I used to love RPGs and all that. The most grindy like hours of planning and all that. And I just can't
Mm-hmm.
now. Kind of bums me out.
I was really into RPGs like Diablo and Diablo 2. So I'm always on the lookout for the next one.
Hmm.
There's three or four kind of early access ARPGs that I'll hop into and play.
Yeah, yeah. And I did. Um, there was a game. It was on. I mean, I know it came out for PC and everything, but it was about the Mechanicus, and it was a game sort of like XCOM, right? So you move your squad and everything.
Oh yeah.
And I really was digging it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm like, dude, I dig this game because I was a big XCOM fan, and I'm like, all right, this is cool. The problem was, I whatever's going on, I stopped for like 2 or 3 weeks, right? And I go back, then I load up the game, and then I get all the units back. I'm like, wait a second. I was working on some ability with him, and it used to when I would combat, I would roll this guy out and then charge with him, and then I couldn't remember like what I was building each individual to and where I was going, and then I was just like, oh, forget it. Like I would have to start all over again. That's what literally like prevented me from going on is because I forgot it, and there's no reason I could have just went on with the mission, but it was like this personal thing where you felt like, you know what I mean, you were gonna like get back and like ruin what you were doing, so why bother? And it was a bummer because I was like, I still like the game. I debated starting it. I'm like, oh, because on the single missions I could play one and maybe it takes you 20 minutes, maybe it takes you 40, but okay, then you can call it good. But like if you stop for a while, you kind of forget where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
The joys of modern day
I'm
gaming.
I'm that way with a lot of games where I don't tend to ever open up a saved game,
Mm-hmm.
and so I end up playing the heck out of a game, but it's really only the first 4 or 5 hours of the
Yeah.
game, and then I'll save, and then I'll come back and like I'd really rather just start a new game than play the old one because
Yeah.
what I was doing.
Once in a while, I will load up the one game that made it, and I don't do it at all right now, but it makes it because it can get it on my iPad is whatever it is, Civilization 6.
Yeah,
And so that was
that's
nice to
one of the
play on
games
an
where I have a
iPad.
serial reroller. I
Yeah,
very
okay, so
rarely
you
finish a
too.
game of Civ 6, but I'll start one constantly.
Oh, dude, how many hours I would sit there waiting to be like spawned next to the right land, and then be like, okay, wait, I'm gonna go with this one. Yeah,
I
Magos
like to joke the
Terran.
the original Civilization kept me out of uh, the honor roll in middle school, and then Civ 2 kept me out of a good college, and Civ 3 kept me out of a good honors program in college. So yeah,
Yeah,
Civilization has been a constant drag on me as a human
yeah.
being.
Oh, dude, if you like any of that, did you ever play the mod like Fall from Heaven?
No.
Oh, I shouldn't even tell you about it, dude. it makes I love Civilization, right? I like that's one of my all-time favorite games. The be was it it's Fall from Heaven. There's two mods that go on it. So it's like it's the I think it's the fourth version of whatchamacallit, and then there are two mods that you get, and one is Fall from Heaven, and I forget what the other is, but if you just Google them, dude, it is 10 times better than any I think I've played every Civilization game. And that one is no joke, 10 times better than any Civilization game ever made, dude. And it was like on the it's so incredible what you can do. They have like dragons that you can build a ranger character, and then you if you go and wear it all the way down and then you attack with this ranger, you can take a dragon and guard your castle, and there's like so many world events that go on, like these huge things will like just be walking across the earth causing lava, and the way the wonders work and how everything works, it's like you might only see this one type of event like out of like 1,000 games, you know. So it's this like a crazy amount of things you can summon. All these you can have a million casters, and then they can all summon skeletons, and you it's like it's just insanity, man. So if you're ever like curious about something Civ, I always suggest that to everyone because it is just intense. I'm afraid to ever go put it on a PC again because I would start to play that game for sure. It would be like re-roll it, and it's endless. I still can't believe that game, man. Like the things I only played it a little while. I mean, relatively like for a couple years, but it was just so the way you'd bring the units and what you could do and everything is just it's insane. It wasn't as linear as the other stuff. It was just like lots of different things happened.
Hmm.
So definitely check that out. I think they hired the people who made the mods. I think they hired quite a few of them at one point.
Yeah, Civilization, and then Diablo, and Counter-Strike when I got to be in college.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the first time I actually got into like first-person shooters. And then
Eroos, what's up?
blowing kids' minds when I tell them, "Oh yeah, you know, professional gaming." Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we kind of started that with Counter Strike.
Yeah, yeah. That was the start of it all. Like, and even back in the day, it's just start with like the arcade ones. Like arcades, and then it was like online, and then they would do like tournaments. And like GoldenEye was the one. Like that was the first one I remember people starting to get. I wouldn't say the first one, but console, as far as console shooters, that one started getting real competitive. And I remember they had belts. I like went out to California and I beat like the one comic book artist, and he had like the belt, and we're like, oh, because we used to play so much GoldenEye. That was a crazy one, dude. That was one of the games we played a lot, and it was like you get your friends so mad they're smashing joysticks on the ground.
Yeah, we played the heck out of Counter Strike. We had a buddy who ran a server in downtown Seattle, and we were going to college in Seattle at the time, and the ping to that server I think was about 3 milliseconds, which at the time everybody else was like 100 between 100 and 200. And so it just gave you this little tiny edge, and it just drove people nuts.
Yeah.
Let me just jump on the server. I got a 3 ping. It's great. Drove them nuts. No, that was a great time. And then doing LAN parties, trying to explain to my son what a LAN party is, just breaks his brain.
And I
You mean you took your entire computer down to Oregon and then sat in a gymnasium with 1,000 other nerds to play games all weekend? Yes, I did.
Yeah. Dude,
yes, I did.
The first times we were doing that, I remember I'd have friends where we had Commodore 64 and 128, and we were linking those, dude. So you bring over the regular Commodores, dude, and like bringing over, and you could link and play those games. We did PC some, but then the most we did it for was probably Halo. We would bring Xboxes because you link 4 of them or whatever. So we would literally get a full boat of like 16 people on 4 Xboxes. We used to we would play GoldenEye. We got crazy about GoldenEye. We would play GoldenEye, but we would take a cable splitter, split the signal, and then you would tape over, like, you know how it was split screen, right? So it'd be like I would be on the top screen, you'd be on the bottom screen. It's like if it was my TV, I would tape over the bottom screen so that I could only see my top screen. And on the other person's TV, they would tape over the top and only see their screen. So then you couldn't screen watch. So like we would take it all the way as far as that.
And our team ended up being sponsored by a local DSL company, and they actually paid to have a little apartment for us to quote unquote practice and train for matches. It was pretty good.
Oh, very cool.
10 of the guys went down to Texas a few times for the kind of when CPL was brand new.
Yeah.
That's not too loud.
No. Airbrush?
Oh, someone's running water upstairs in the kitchen.
Oh, no. Yeah. The OG LAN parties.
Yeah. Those were the days.
Yeah, no. Do they even do LAN parties anymore? I mean, there must be, but I don't think it's...
Probably for consoles, but...
Yeah.
Oh. Where to show this guy off? This is the...
Oh, what is that?
3D printable model from the Mara Kickstarter. He does that really cool Mara webcomic.
Yeah.
Printed it out, did kind of a quick contrast paint, and then I'll go back and make it look fancy.
See, that's so cool. Like, that's what I love about, like, 3D print. Like, if you are some small-time artist or whatever, you can kind of, you know, if you can, even if you're not doing 3D, maybe you can get someone who can make a little 3D for you or whatever, and you can give away the STL, and you know what I mean? If you're slightly bigger and you have a cool character and you know, pay an artist to like make it in 3D, it's a great way to get it in someone's hand because that thing looks cool. Huh.
I think that STL file actually comes as part of the Kickstarter if you do a certain part of the tier.
Yeah.
I don't remember the specifics. I think it actually ended yesterday. Cool comic if you're into comics at all.
Oh yeah. I haven't been in a while. I was big time into comics actually. I made a killing selling, what was it, Death in the Family. when Robin died. I think I don't know how many of those I sold. I went to a comic convention and then I think I had a bunch and I sold them for $25 a piece before the convention even opened. And then I sold that Robin Death in the Family stuff, and then I went and bought Silver Age, Journey into Mystery, and a lot of Thor stuff. So it kind of was the right call as far as the collecting stuff.
Stalker.
That's the name of the Mech. Okay, you're right.
I couldn't remember. Just popped into my brain. So.
Stalker. That's what you are. Well, you know, I'm not a stalker, dude. Stalker? No, I'm not, man.
Sack full of cats. That's what my brain is. Can't remember my current phone number, but I can remember my best friend's phone number from 6th grade.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Bash my head into the camera.
What is that right there? Oh, I gotta send Forge of Mars an invite. I forgot. Time is going. Time flies when you're scared of paintovers. Invite remote guest. Where do I invite?
He's been doing really well with his streams. I've dropped by a couple of He's had quite a few people showing up, which
Mm-hmm.
is awesome.
Yeah, there's enough like it's not zero sum even in that. You know what I mean, dude? Because it's all like I don't know. To me, it's like helpful. You have other people who get whatever quote unquote popular, and then you talk to them, or you know what I mean. It goes
I
around.
don't see it at all as a competition. That's not
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm like some people feel, oh, I gotta do this. I'm like, ah, no, I don't. I don't really see it that way.
rising tide boats, etc.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it is. And of course, Mars post. There we go. And this one, I have to get it set up now because with the app I use now, I'm on YouTube, but I can also simultaneously stream to Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, oh, I'll start. I have a Twitch and everything. I just never used it, but now I'm like with Dual, I'll do it. So why not?
Yeah, I've been gaining subs on Twitch, even though I almost never stream there.
Yeah.
It's good, I suppose, if I ever do make the leap.
Yeah.
Definitely, I think easier to grow there than
I think so, but
if you're a
my
streamer.
yeah, it depends. I think it's your content. I want to be able to make videos, and then 5 years from now, someone can go back and watch it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's why
That's
I'm
kind of
kind of
how
stuck with YouTube.
That's me too. I'm like, that's what I have Twitch, but I'm like, and I get it, but I'm like, my stuff, what my goal, like, eventually, that's would be it. Have good content, and then it doesn't matter if it's 5 years from now, people can go back and watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Theoretically. Put some darkness in there. It's a snappy orange. Wait, hold that one closer,
Yeah,
please. What is that?
this is
Like,
a
I mean, how are
mauler.
you doing the paint? What is that?
So this was a base coat of orange, and then I hit it with the turbo door multipass, which is a metallic orange.
Gosh, that's cool looking.
Pretty nifty.
Yeah, I dig that. Huh.
I was kind of imagining this one as kind of like a Solaris 7 Gladiator mech.
I like that glowy or in the metallics and stuff. I would end up using a bunch of that stuff. I like sparkles.
Normally, I'm not into the glossy paint
Hmm.
jobs for mechs because it doesn't really fit the
You wouldn't be blinging out in the
need.
jungles. You don't want to bling
But
out, right?
if you're a Solaris 7 mech, then being flashy is kind of the point.
Yeah.
Something about the scale doesn't really work well with gloss.
Hmm.
And I know
Yeah, very true.
I'm going to universally agree with me on this, but I think it makes the mech look small typically when
No,
you
they
have the
does.
gloss
Yeah,
job.
because it doesn't react. It's not on the scale to react the way a big one would look. Yeah, absolutely. What are we dealing with? Specular diffusion? I can't even remember. No, maybe. I have to educate myself.
I'm sure there's an arts term for it. I don't know it,
Yeah,
but I know it's like I know it
exactly.
when I see it.
What is specular? Is specular diffusion? Maybe I'm just making something up. I know one is like, is that the one like if you put a flashlight like up to your hand, you know how the light like travels through your skin some, you know what I mean? Like that.
Sure.
I think that's what I'm intending to say, but whether or not it's specular diffusion is anybody guess. Sometimes I just like to use big words. Makes me seem smart.
Close enough. MRT.
Yeah, maybe this week maybe I will go try to see Top Gun. I don't even know when was the last time I was to the movie theater. We had a good one by my house. Like you could go and you probably can't do it anymore, of course, but they had the big seats or whatever, and it was literally like $5.50 if you went like before 2 during the week or whatever it was. You know what I mean? And I was like, and I'll be like, oh, dude, work from home. I'm like, okay, I'll be the one who goes to the $5 movie. You know what I mean? It's like, and it was right, there, so you could go there quick,
Mhm.
catch a movie, and then be done. And that I always like that because I'm gonna go see a bunch of movies. Well, a bunch, maybe like 2 a month or so, but still.
All right, what to do next? 40 million projects going.
How
How do
many
you decide
videos?
what you're going to work on, Mac Frog? Well, whichever project looks at me funny is the one that gets worked on.
Yeah, the one that's got to get done.
That Mac over there, it's got this. What can you do today?
There we go. Put a laser. Lasers. I get like
Lasers.
I got a couple. I got some like this little bag of Swedish fish, and then I had a Red Bull. I was like, yeah, I'll get myself a treat for the show. And then I had it like a half hour before the show. Well, of course, I eat it all and drink it all a half hour before the show, and then I have nothing for the show.
Now you're all hopped up on caffeine
Yeah,
and
now I'm all
sugar.
hopped up on caffeine and sugar, man. Like, let's do this. What did you open? I heard you open something at the beginning of the show. What did you have to drink?
Oh, it's my one vice. I like a Coke Zero when I paint.
You're allowed. You can have Coke Zero. That's mine. Mine Red Bull gets me. That's
Don't
my
drink. I don't smoke. I don't gamble. I don't watch football on
yeah.
Sundays with my buddies. But I do need a Coke when I'm
But he
working.
has a Coke Zero. Oh, that's even
Oh,
worse.
brutal.
Yeah, you're throwing your life away, dude.
Mrs. MacFrog has commented more than once, so she's very grateful that I don't have any of
Yeah, a
those other
big
things that I've listed.
yeah. Get out of here, Stalker. Oh, Stalker. He's Stalker, the video game. That was a good video. I never played it, but I heard a lot of people talk about Stalker.
Oh, it's classic.
You played it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Kind of an open world FPS.
Okay, that's kind of
Yeah.
what it was. Yeah, I never played or knew it.
They're yellow. I guess I'll do this guy in Capellan colors. You know, since it's a Capellan mech. Darn house Leo.
Ooh, I like gold. I like gold and paintovers. I didn't know. It's funny. I mean, I guess I like both, but if it was 40K art, like, and even art in general, I think I lean black and white. And I like gray. I guess it's the old school 40K stuff, right? Like the pencil
Mm-hmm.
stuff back in the day and that.
Mm-hmm.
And even in comic books, I like black and light, the ink work and line work. And I think if you left it to me, that's the way I kind of draw and like what like and whatever. But then when I do paintovers, I find myself going bright and getting stuff to like pop, because you're like, I don't know, something about it. So it's just this weird mix where I'm like, even though it's not really like if you said, hey, which would you do? I'd be like, hey, all grimy and everything. But then I do this, and then I find myself enjoying making it like pop and more sparkles and everything. So it's kind of
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the old black and white stuff is awesome. It's kind of its
yeah,
own thing
it
these
is.
days. I really prefer it to the more kind of commercial type
I
artwork that we saw.
agree. I agree. And the other thing, I started by hand, and then even like I don't draw anymore by hand. And if I really try, you could. I can draw digitally online where if I really wanted to, where most people would probably think it's pencil, like, you know what I mean? But there's a big difference between like those old school ones are all drawn by pencil, and then not all of them obviously, but you know what I mean. And now no one really does that, so you're like using a tool that like replicates a bunch of lines, but it's not each of those individual lines, so just by nature of using a different tool you have a different outcome, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me you don't get that same, I don't know if it's a life or a whatever you want to say to it. And I like, because you're working commercially, like I need to move fast. I don't have time to like sit with it. You know what I mean? Like a pencil and be doing all that anymore. And like that's what most commercial artists are like now. You know, it's not even like they don't. It's not like they don't have the skill or whatever. It's just like it's different time constraints. You know?
Yeah. You know what I think? What I think I really like about the kind of the old pencil stuff, like you find in
Mm-hmm.
the BattleTech books and Warhammer books, is
Yeah.
that it almost looks amateurish enough to be like it's your buddy who drew this, and so it
It
kind of
is
you
true.
feel a little bit more kind of included.
Yeah.
Whereas the really commercial stuff, the stuff you would never be able to do on your own. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you could, but uh, speaking for myself, stuff that I would never be able to draw,
Yeah.
there's some separation there. Like, oh, that's clearly someone who has years and years of digital art experience in their career. They're creating this thing, and but being able to look at those pictures, oh yeah, somebody drew that in math
Mm-hmm.
class, and now it's in his book.
Yeah,
At least it's
especially the early ones,
obviously, but
especially like
it looks possible.
yeah, no, like the early Rogue Trader ones and stuff. You can see, so it's like, oh
Mhm.
yeah, like you know, gosh, I love that stuff. Like to
Your work
me,
is just too good.
oh, there we go. We got a three screen in it. Let's three screen this.
Go for it.
Bam,
I'll
bam,
just be a
bam,
ghostly
bam.
voice.
Oh, look at it.
Ah, there he is.
We got
Greetings
it
and
all.
salutations.
Moving on up. Good
Well, that's looking pretty
afternoon,
good, isn't
lady.
it?
It looks like you. Is it the camera, or did you get a little sun? You got a little sun on you? Looking a little tan.
Yeah,
Got
hot.
got got a little healthy. Oh, it is heat. Yeah, don't get a heat
It's
stroke on
radiation.
stream.
It's really
You're radiating.
I've been watching Chernobyl again, and it's affected me.
standing too close to the source.
Yeah. So,
Mm,
I was just studying the Mechanicus construct there and seeing what parts has been used. So I've
yeah.
identified the guns from an Imperial Knight. The
This
head
one,
could
this
be
gun is from an Imperial
yeah,
Knight.
I think
thermal
there's a drop
lance.
pod in there. I think
Was
that
that
side
thermal?
is a drop pod, right?
Yeah, drop pod on the side, and I think the bottom might
Oh,
actually also be part of the drop pod as well
Yeah.
because it's a conveyant. The Mechanicus have abeyance. That's it. Sorry. When you have the high-ranking Magos of a forge, sometimes like to go fancy with their modes of transport, or even get integrated into said modes of transport. So it's normally something that's a bit hovery with lots of McKendrites hanging out of it to do all those important jobs like
oh,
whisking
so
eggs.
okay. So wait, this is kind of. I mean, I'm sure it's his own take, but it's based on kind of what they would be doing, huh?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
conceivable.
there's only one model that Forge World made, which was a traitor Magos called Dravek, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And I think Magos Terror is just pointing out it might be actually that is off of a yes. Well, it's one of the scenery pieces for the base of
Okay.
like, anti-aircraft guns or anti-aircraft Icarus lasers from one of the previous sort of battlement type things.
Yeah.
You've got the drop pods, as Mr. Frog had already pointed out. I think there's some bits off the back there which are pretty random parts from several kits, I think. And obviously the thermal lance and the head, knight head. But as I was saying, Magos Dravak had a podium type thing, similar to
Yeah.
that, rounded, that it stood on, and it had lots of like McKendrites, like the little squiddies
Yeah.
from the matrix as its propulsion sort of parts. My actual, back in the early days of the Heresy, when they first mentioned that they had these abeyance as options, I made two. The first one, which was actually, funnily enough, was using the base of an Icarus AA gun that you got with the old Bastion.
Oh yeah.
It was like a little rounded bit, and it had 3 legs that came off of it. And I basically turned it upside down and added other bits on top of it, and stuck a Magos type. It was actually a Cairn Wraith from Fantasy. I got the idea from John French, the author. He actually done a Magos using the Cairn Wraith model and sticking some Mechs on it. So I stole that idea and done this abeyant, and it did get shown to one of the guys up at Forge World, and his reply was, "Oh, that's a bit cool." And then, like a year or so later, out came Dravak with his, awesome sort of Pimpmobile esque abeyant.
Yeah.
But my second one I made was actually made from the body off of a Mechanicum Automata, which is called the Thanatar, which is like the biggest one they have. It has this huge, like, plasma cannon on the shoulder, or plasma mortar. And the first one I got, a friend picked it up for me from like Games Day when it was released or something, and it was miscast. Like the mold on the torso, everything else was fine, but the torso was miscast. So I complained to Forge World. They said send pictures. I did all that, and then they sent me a replacement part, which was just that. Like, other people got whole kits, I just got the replacement part. So with the miscast one, again, I turned it upside down and done lots of little McKendrites at the bottom and that, and some weapony bits, and it became like a pimped out floaty type thing. It's not until you look upside down you realise, oh, wait a second, that's a Phantom body. So it just all worked out.
So me and Frog were talking, and you probably did the same thing. What is and we only covered this briefly, and maybe you know a little more. There is the Mechanicum coming out for 30K Heresy. Yeah. What do you know anything about that, or is there just that's coming out kind of deal?
It's coming out October.
Oh, that's not too far then.
No, not really. The way the speed of this year has been going,
dude, for real.
It's very quick. And I know Luke in the chat, one of my hobby children, is very excited for Mechanicum book dropping. There probably will be some kits to go with it as well. So
yeah.
I'm really looking
there have been like models and stuff mentioned in the old books, which never had models and stuff.
Yeah.
Or the plastic side, some of the old Forge World kits, like hopefully like Thalax or even Castellax Automata, even Domata, anything getting made into plastic.
I mean, in Mechanicus, you can make so much stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, the design language for them is pretty unlimited, you know?
Sorry, Luke, August? I thought it was October that the Mechanicum book was coming out. Is it August?
August, that's really not far.
The 30K stuff can be much more kind of free form for Mechanicus. It's before that everything kind of falls apart.
Yeah, it's so much. That's what I like about the mechanic, especially like the Magos in particular, because like no two Magos should be the same, because everybody has their own ideas about what claw I should add, or should I have a whisk attachment? You know, they have their own ideas. They go off. So, like, my Magos self would be totally different to Mechanical Frog's Magos self, or your Magos self, Mr. Artist Empire.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do.
Oh, you'd have sort of lots of like little sparkle launchers.
I have spark generators everywhere. Like, what does he do now?
Permanent sparklers
Sparkling,
going.
and then like dove releasers. They would release doves every so often and ticker tape. Oh, dude, that
Hold up.
is. I don't get angry about much, but who stopped John Woo from putting doves in Face Off? Is all I want to know. Did you see that art?
Oh,
Like,
you
and
tagged me in
so
that, didn't you?
I remember that coming out, and I was half bummed because I was like, oh, it's John Woo, but it's for an American audience, and they're not gonna like let John Woo do John Woo. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I was hard boiled. I'm like, dude, that's infinitely cooler than whatever you're gonna have Hollywood style. And I remember going to watch, I was like, dude, there's gonna be some scene with doves. I was laughing. I'm like, dude, he's gonna put some doves in or something, you know? And then there never was. And I just clicked on that article. Someone had tweeted it, and I didn't even read the article, but someone captioned it about, no, John, we can't have doves in this thing or whatever. And I was like, oh, dude, someone made a bad call. I'm like, you do not stop John Woo from putting doves in a movie, dude. That's like a sin.
How would you get John Travolta's face onto a dove? That's what I want to know.
So, and I'm like, there needs to
Now
be
a completely different
cut.
movie.
Yeah, there needs to be a director cut where they put the doves back in, like when George Lucas did some crummy CGI on Star Wars. We need some crummy CGI doves
so
in
Han
Face
didn't
Off.
fire first.
How the
Maybe
movie
there's
was
some doves
intended.
fly out in front of Greedo's face
Mhm.
and shoot him.
Yep.
Through the dove. When doves cry.
Yeah, John, I haven't seen. I have to go look up. Has he even done anything in forever?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's August. The others are October. So Luke says. So, and Magos Terror can finally field his auto reductor again. Yeah. Well, auto reductor never really gone away. The Triaris, which is the armored conveyor, or like steampunk tank with tracks.
Yeah.
Cool in plastic, which it would be cool in plastic. So yeah, that would be definitely something. Anything, Mechanicum, because I've got a lot of resin.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, Mechanicum is one of my big dudes. Hey, Jess.
Yeah, I'll be keeping some dry powder for the Mechanicum.
If you do get this, Jess, what is this miniature from, by the way? I'm just curious. I was like, I know it can't be GW unless I don't know something. And there's a lot that I don't know. So that's probably a safe bet. I think it's a safe bet that I don't know something. Like, so where does this go? How do I turn this off?
Welcome, Jess. Thank you for dropping in. I love the glow on that.
I know, and then I'm trying to. I want it. I don't know how to do it. I want to amp up. So for me, in order to amp up the glow on the vial and the goggles, I have to darken some of the rest of the body, and I don't know if I want to do that or not. And that's what's been like. I started some whatever artistic panic I had about all this, like whatever day it started, and I'm like still in it, and I'm just like, how am I? And it's making me overthink it, and then it's making me get stagnant. So that's why part of I'm like, dude, get on, start streaming, and get over it.
Yeah, get over yourself, man.
Get over yourself, bro.
Cool your skin.
Cool. Pump your brakes.
Yeah. Throw out your doves.
Frog, did you ever get a chance to play? So I went. It was in Chicago, so I don't know where else they had them. Probably not many places, but they were like the big BattleTech pods that you sat in. Yeah. Okay, so you did do those too. All right.
Yep, they had the virtual world in Seattle.
Yeah.
So they did have one in Seattle. Okay.
Yeah, we would go down there with $40 or so and just play until the money ran out. And
yeah, I got
some bragging rights for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I had some of the printouts. Did they give you the printouts after?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if I still have mine. I want to try to find that because I gotta send it to my friends because I beat their ass, dude. Because I to try everything. They didn't know how. I think Lee said it when he played. Some of the people didn't know how to pivot. You know what I mean? So you could run sideways and gun, and if you knew how to do that, it was like ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, if you're pro tier enough to do the torso turning.
Yeah.
Well, that was the thing. It was just that because I'd played previously, they all ganged up on me, and it's like I was just going down. That's my mates. I'm going with my mates. I was just going to go down there, run around, basics and all that sort of stuff. And they was like, "Oh yeah, we all got to get Lee. We'll get Lee." So they all hunted me down, and that's when I just literally I was going. Being shot from everywhere, and I just go fuck this, and I go ding, 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 hit all the buttons at the top to go into advanced mode, and then just turned around and alpha strike someone in the face. it was the oh fuck I heard over the comm nettle.
I've got a second one of those goblins to paint, same sculpt, but he's got a coffee cup instead of a potion. Not sure whether to paint it totally different or not. Coffee cup, that's a good one.
I like the idea that there's just this goblin who's like getting up in the morning and he's got to have his coffee before he does his goblin stuff.
He's like, oh god, he's like, I gotta make potions again today.
Got a schedule he's got to keep.
Yeah, dude. Like, dude, I need a coffee, man. He's like, could you imagine having to deal with other goblins all day? That's gotta be hassle. That can't be easy.
A challenge for you, Jess, is if you can actually paint in the coffee and then do a little pattern like they do in the baristas do. If you do that, just be
on the top,
that will win. That's the well-ending event right there.
That's hilarious.
Honestly, that little leaf design or what third design.
Yeah, it's like paint the Sistine Chapel on the head of a pen or whatever,
No, not that. Steady on. I'm just talking about a third in a coffee cup.
Yeah, that coffee cup's gonna be awfully small, buddy. A little smiley face, that'll be good enough.
I have faith. I believe in you, Jess.
Yeah, this is a good pose on this, and the shoes.
I love those shoes.
They need to be it's almost like they're metal. I'm like, they need to be electrically charged. They do something in his lab where the metal things get electricity on his feet. I don't know why he would want electricity on his feet, but I dig the concept.
Oh, the cup has a lid on it.
Get in there with a drill.
I was just thinking that.
Drill out the barrels. You got to drill out the coffee cups.
Drill for coffee.
Drill the coffee cup.
Yeah,
no, that coffee cup.
It's little things like that, which just it's something that only a person who really looks at a model. Sometimes you look at models on display, places, you go, oh yeah, that's a really nice paint job, and you don't really look at them, and it's like a little reward for that. Pardon me, for those people that really look at models.
Yeah.
Because you ever seen around and go, oh, is that what I think that is? And you just go, yeah, it is.
It is true, because I notice it. I'll sometimes really get into staring at models, and then you're like, oh my gosh, they did all because people are thinking they're doing little just little things that you don't see unless you're really staring at it.
I like the idea that you have this a tool for drilling out barrels. But then people ask you, "Oh, what is that tool for?" And it's for drilling out coffee cups.
Yeah. Coffee cup drill.
You use a special drill head for the latte, the grande, and Verdi.
Yeah, dude. Your size drills. That's hilarious. Why did they do? Did they do? I guess I get them now. But why? Would they just wanted to be like they had culture? Did Starbucks start all that? Who started the whole Vendi Grande? Why did that all?
Yeah, it was them or one of the many coffee chains that started. Yeah, just make us a little bit different from. I want to buy a coffee.
So it's basically just marketing.
Where it all started. Starbucks Central.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
He's at ground zero with all the Verdis and the Vendis and the.
Yeah, I still don't know.
Pikachu's. I don't know.
Coffee. I just want a coffee.
Just want a coffee. Give me a coffee.
I want coffee.
No, you can't have a coffee.
Where's Crimson? Where's Crimson with we need Crimson with a Boston accent right now. Some coffee.
Oh yeah, we need Crimson here. Crimson, where are you?
Yeah, Crimson, where are you? Little bastard.
Yes.
In the grim darkness, there is only Starbucks.
I don't know if you guys saw the video I did recently on how to build a Space Marine. That was like a joke video.
No, I did not see that one.
There was a throwaway line in there about like only sociopaths drill their Space Marine barrel.
There's funny enough, before leaving work tonight, I was going through like social media and all that, and I think it was Miles David, Little Legends.
Okay.
And he put up something where he's drilling out rhino exhaust.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I've never, ever considered doing that.
Yeah.
Not going to either, because there's a lot of freaking holes.
Yeah, there's a lot of ports in those.
Yeah, but no, wash. That will do. That will do. You know, I don't want to go too heavy on it. And it's just like, oh my God, he's showing it. I'm like, oh my God. But that's why he's like, you know, one of these top painters and all that, builders and sculptor or whatever's. But it's just like, I never even considered doing that. I'm never going to do it. You know, barrels and bolts, that's one thing. But I was looking at it in horror. Do we have to do that now? Is that what we have to do?
Is the standard been raised?
Gross.
What beverage are you having?
Bud.
Did you tried any new snacks? Either of you, have you tried any new snacks lately? Is there some sort of snack I should be trying? Even though I haven't been snacking much.
Which I don't think you've got over there, but over here, because you remember that way back when I bought all those American snacks?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about actually.
And I was tasting because I wanted, like, you know, your was it atomic warhead type sweets and whatever.
Yep.
Really sour. And I'm like, what? This is like, you know, this is a rainy day. You know, this is not sour. This is not like our level sour. Yeah. But one of the sweets that we have over here is called Tangfastics, and the Great Potato Mage was on my stream the other night.
Okay.
And he suggested a combination of Tangfastic sweets on Ritz crackers. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know, it's savory and sweet or sour. He said, no, I know it sounds really weird, but it just works. And I went, well, I don't like Ritz crackers anyway. But now you've mentioned it, I'm going to have to try it.
You did seriously try it?
No, not yet. I haven't got any Ritz crackers. I've got Tangfastics. I've got loads of them. No Ritz crackers though. But I will try it just for scientific investigation.
Research.
Reasons. Yeah, research. Yeah.
What was I? Oh, this is like so low rent. I could like it's total ghetto. Was I total ghetto? Whatever. I don't know why I liked this, and this is the most obscure one. It was cottage cheese on a graham cracker. I don't know why. So it's cottage cheese. It was just like cheese. So it was like what, like a poor man's cheesecake or something, because like his graham cracker crust and then cottage cheese. It's almost like a, you know what I mean? If it's not like super sour, it's almost like a, you know, cheesecake. And I actually liked that, which is the funny thing. Oh, blast from the past.
I love Tangfastics, but after a while it makes your teeth hurt.
Oh, do they? See, I'm gonna have to look for Tangfastics.
They're a Haribo make them. But I did want, because I was when I first discovered them, I just loved this, because it's like makes you like, you know, at times they're not as I may have gotten used to it now, but I went through 2 large bags of them in a morning, and
oh god,
my god, the sugar rush I was on was legendary. I thought I saw forever in a split second of moment of clarity.
One of those time
What do you
dilations.
see? I see
wasn't
everything.
It's like Fry after 100 cups of coffee. It's like, oh, and just running around like hyper and like so. But then I didn't feel that at all well, so I limit the amount of. There's a cat. Oh my god!
You don't want to see everything anymore, dude. Do you, Frog? Is there like some
Yep.
sort of snack? Are you? Is there anything that like calls your name, or sometimes you like indulge on, or what?
Well, you know that Costco has these chocolate covered almonds. Those are my
Oh God,
go-to.
yeah. I can't. You know what?
When we
I
go
would.
to Costco, we'll buy like 6
Wait, isn't it like
canisters of them.
$100 for one of those nowadays?
Oh no, they're like $14 or something.
Really? Okay, that's not too bad.
It's quite reasonable.
I like the chocolate. I can't be around them. Chocolate covered cashews. That's my thing now. I do good with my food in general, but I can't have it around me. I'd have like chocolate covered cashews. You'd never get me away from that. Like I'm just like I was like, dude, just keep it away from me, and then I don't even get tempted by the stuff. But some of those things, like I'll get something like today. I had the Swedish fish in the Red Bull, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to enjoy it for the show." And like I said, it was like gone before the show even started. I'm like, nope, that didn't work. Not what I planned.
I like so like one of those little things that every now and again you just go, you know, I fancy some of that. It's chocolate covered raisins. I really like. Yeah, you just sit there, especially if it's like a particular make of chocolate. You know, over here we have you know Cadbury's and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Thing. And like you just or there's a shopping chain, a supermarket chain called Marks and Spencers, which is a very high end sort of thing. But they do these really nice chocolate covered raisins. They also do the legendary sweets that are Percy Pigs, which are little foam jelly sort of pig faces, basically, that sort of thing, which are quite popular. But yeah, just sit there and just like
Do they is Harrods still in downtown London?
I wouldn't call it downtown London. That's Knightsbridge. That's like when you're playing.
I don't mean downtown. I don't know my bearings. I'm an American, man. Everything's downtown London, but you know what I mean.
My boss's son actually works in Harrods. He's a chef. He works in the staff sort of cafeteria area, I think. Because obviously it's not just like when you say a cafeteria, it's not
it's not a cafeteria.
With cigarettes sticking out.
That's where I get my chocolates when I'm in the UK.
In their sort of their area, their canteen area as such, they actually have Starbucks in there. They have Subway in there. They have other sort of food eatery type things, and that's just for the staff. That's not for the general public. And they can go up there and go, "Oh, I'll have a Subway. I'll have a
that's crazy.
A Vendy coffee,
or
whatever."
Vendies. It's hard Vendies.
Yeah, it's all Vendy, Grande Vendy. But yeah, he training to be a chef, and he got lucky, took on somewhere. And I've actually got another friend who's actually just started working for it's a subsidiary of like Gordon Ramsay.
Okay.
And he's like a wine specialist.
Sommelier.
That's it, sommelier. So on my newsfeed, I keep on getting these bloody things about.
We're sophisticated over here. Our show's sophisticated. We got sommeliers. I don't even know how to pronounce
it. Took it up a notch.
Yeah, dude. We're established.
Chocolate covered almonds and wine.
I know. And then I'm glad I got you guys this company too, because what is it? All old people who do this hobby now? Thank goodness I had hobby chats, right? I was thinking about this I'm like, oh my gosh, like at least I'm going to do some more Twitter space hobby chats again, because you would get some of the younger people. I'm like, okay, it's not just all us old people. It's like there's some people playing in their early 20s. I'm like, what? We're all sitting here talking about all this stuff. I'm like, oh gosh.
Back in the dark days of 1992.
Back in the 90s. I can, whatever, man. When it's on, when I'm in the old folks' home, I am getting a freaking internet streaming, and I'm going to get in some MMORPG, and those kids are going to cry because they're going to be like, "What does this dude do? He's always in here, and he never leaves, and he's got this whole group, and they're mean to me." That's right, dude. Just wait till I'm on, close to my deathbed, and I have nothing but to do to, and hopefully it's VR. That's why I'm getting ready in VR, dude, because I'm going to wire my head in, and we are just going to go wage war, dude. Like,
You just gonna old man cackle at them.
yeah, dude, the geriatric clan, dude. It's gonna be brutal, dude. They're gonna be like, well, they never. He's relentless. I'm gonna loot, steal, and everything, man. You name it. It's gonna be brutal.
You're reminding me of that old line from the I can't remember the name of it. It's like Help or something, that the old man has dementia, and he says, well, the good thing about dementia is that you can curse at children and flip them off. And then the bad part of having dementia is that you're cursing at children and flipping them off.
Yeah.
That's one of those things you just have to live with, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in it to win it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. These youngsters, they have the reflexes and stuff.
Yeah, but I'm gonna have tenacity, dude. Who is this?
Well,
he doesn't sleep. I'm like, no, I can't sleep. I'm old. I'm like, well, old people don't sleep anymore, dude. Like, let's do this. And then whatever. I'm gonna be sharing accounts in the old folks' home and everything, dude. I'm like, here, I gotta go to sleep, but you gotta keep it going because we gotta teach these kids a lesson.
I actually, I took my boy out to see Duxford Air Museum last Thursday, which has I went there because I recently found out they had a SR-71 black there.
Oh yeah,
and that's my aircraft. I just love the Blackbird, and I found that out. So I basically, because he's finished college now, and it's just like one of those things. Like I've been thinking about going for age, because there's also, as well as that, they've also got some World War II tanks and stuff there as well. But they also have Field Marshal Montgomery's command caravan. Because there are these couple of caravans that he was out in the desert during like LAN stuff, that he conducted his war from. Because one of my granddads was a staff driver for him. So I thought,
I think I remember you saying that before. All right.
So I wanted to go up there, see that, and like go, oh yeah, my granddad would have been near this thing, and see the Blackbird sort of stuff. And we was up there, and it's just like, just such a great place. There was so much on top of that, all like the American planes there, the British planes, German planes. They had a doodle bug, the old V1 doodle bug sitting there on a launch ramp that was captured. And just seeing everything there was just amazing. We went through Concorde. They've got a Concorde there, which was one of the test Concordes, which holds the record for the fastest like civilian plane.
Yeah,
because it reached 1,500 miles an hour in that. So it's just like, and we could walk through it and see all the bits and pieces and all that sort of stuff. But it's just a really, really nice sort of way to spend a day, really. And the food there was amazing.
They had a Concorde at the Flight Museum in Seattle, and we were kind of shocked how small it felt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's just like, I thought, am I going to fit in this? I'm just like 6 foot, but like, am I? am I ducking here? I don't know. But the one that they had there, because it was a test one, it had no seats in it. It's just every now and again, like loads of monitors and like cameras and stuff that was monitoring the performance as they're setting these speed records and stuff. But yeah, like I saw up close to a Strato Fortress, which was like absolutely massive. It just took up so much space in the like the hangar say like the display hanger area, they had like
Mhm.
F-15 hanging from the ceiling. You know,
Yeah, where they just hang the foot. Yeah, I know. Isn't that funny?
yeah, B-17. They had the B-17 from Memphis Belle on the airfield, which was if you remember that film.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it was just really, really nice seeing all these, all these planes that were there. Some really like strange looking creations as well.
Look at all the culture